Getty, Twitter. Maki was born in London, but moved to Syria to work as a journalist. Maki was born in London, but moved to Syria to work as a journalist and decided to stay in Damascus until the siege of East Ghouta was finished. On April 7, a suspected chemical weapons attack was allegedly carried out in Doma, East Ghouta, which prompted a U.S.-led response a week later on April 14 against chemical weapons factories in Damascus. Maki was in the capital during the attack. But on April 9, an airstrike was launched against the Iranian T4 base, which the Syrian regime blamed on Israel. The airstrikes will continue, said Mr. Maki. A lot of people thought the strikes on the T4 base was a response to the chemical attack, but it wasn't, he added. Israel are terrified of Iran installing air defenses to protect their bases. The Israelis will continue striking these different targets, and there are between 20 to 25 targets to choose from, so it will play out considerably over the next year. I can honestly see that there will be dozens more strikes even if it reaches the point where Israeli jets are downed. The Israelis will not back down. It is an issue of national security for them, so this situation is going to continue. It's not going to finish anytime soon. The T4 airstrike was followed by another suspected Israeli attack on Iranian targets on April 16. Since 2012, the Israelis are believed to have launched more than 100 strikes on suspected Iranian-linked positions in Syria. Iran is allied with Syria and has bases within the country, and their presence in Syria is a legitimate defense. Getty. Maki believes the tension between the states are going to develop in the coming months, but Israeli officials argue airstrikes are necessary to combat Iran's Lebanese proxy, Hezbollah, who are operating in Syria. Mr. Maki believes the tension between the states are going to develop in the coming months. He said, the war is not going to die down, it is going to relocate strategically to different areas. The map of Syria is incredibly complicated from a military point of view. ISIS never left, so there are still areas where they can make a resurgence. Getty. James Mattis said war is very likely between Israel and Iran. The fighting will basically move to the countryside, away from Damascus and to the north. The Washington Post reported Donald Trump is seeking a Saudi Arabia-led coalition of Arab nations to replace U.S. troops in Syria. This has added to fears of an escalation in Syria between the two arch-rivals of Iran and the House of Saud. But speaking about the alleged plans, Mr. Maki dismissed the idea, saying, if Saudi Arabia put any troops in Syria, the whole of the country will turn against them. This will play into Assad's hands and will be such a good PR coup for Iran. They will be able to present themselves as the victims. The journalist's comments come after Pentagon chief said war between Iran and Israel is likely because of Iran's links with Hezbollah, who are operating in the area. He said, I can see how it might start, but I am not sure when or where. Conflict between the two countries in Syria is very likely, because Iran continues to do its proxy work there through Hezbollah.